Okay, we have Jennifer Kasallis, a new and up-and-coming powerhouse agent in North Texas. Jennifer, how we doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm fantastic. Let's have a conversation, shall we?
Sounds good.
I got some quick questions for you. So, first one is, what would you say has been the most helpful part of the elite training?
I would say it is hard to pinpoint one section because it's all been so helpful. But for me, as the agency owner, the biggest part was helping me learn to departmentalize my agency and realize that one person can't do everything there is to do to continue to grow and be successful, that you have to train and mentor and put people underneath you that can handle aspects of the business for you to continue to grow.
Yeah, kind of like what you had mentioned about the restaurant analogy, right?
Yeah. So going to that analogy, what I was telling Brian is that, I'm almost 2 years in and I kind of dipped my toe in here and hire a few people here and do this here. And after taking the training, after taking the elite agency training and really going through the departmentalization, it made me think that if somebody started a restaurant, they couldn't open a restaurant with one table, with one set of chairs, and then have the same person be the cook, the server, the hostess, check you out, all of that kind of stuff. They have to either go all in and get all the tables, get the cooks, get the dinner. You don't buy one set of plates and one set of napkins. You got to get all the napkins and all the plates. And the agency runs the same way. I can't expect to grow and be the best there around. Second to Brian Scott, that is, be the best around if we're not all in and if we're not having the different departments and thinking like a bigger company and not trying to manage things one person.
Exactly. Absolutely. Has the training increased your numbers in production? And if so, by how much?
I would 100% say that it has increased our numbers in production. Up until about this month, I've been running on one producer for a little while, and I would say over she did 5 times more last month than the month before.
5 times.
And 5 times.
What, can you give us
So she
examples
had
of
done 10,000 the month before, and she did 50,000 last folio. The month before that, she did just over 10. I would say between 10 and 15. Her biggest month has probably been 25 to 32K. So even that, from her biggest month to last month, since she's been taking this and done the part on tonality and the sales training, she's doubled her biggest month by far.
So we've from last month to taking the training to this most recent month has been an increase of $40,000 in premium.
Yeah, second biggest month the agency's ever had.
And that's so what is that? That's about $5,000 of agency commission right there.
Mhm.
And then the training course is what currently $297 a month. So that's what 15 times your return on the training
Yeah,
course.
and
So if
that's on
you
one employee. So now we've hired more. So think of that return we're going to get.
and then we're not even talking about bonus, but not even
Right.
talking about bonus. You have paid with renewals. You have paid more than paid for the cost of the course in perpetuity.
Absolutely.
Fantastic. Wonderful. And then your producer, after taking the course and especially the sales training, has increased from $10,000 to $50,000 in premium.
Absolutely. Which you can imagine how happy that makes her and her paychecks also.
Yes. And of course yourself.
Yeah. But her, I mean, and I care greatly about my people. So, it's nice to be able to say, hey, look at how much more you can take home and how much more you can provide for your family. And it didn't take any more effort. It didn't take any more time out of your day. You still worked 8 hours a day, 5 days a week. You just wrote 5 times more in the same amount of time. So now you're taking home over double your previous paycheck in the same amount of hours invested into the job. And think of what that's going to do for your family. Like that to me is really neat to be able to show them, hey, this is what this is going to do for your affiliate. This is how we're going to get you to what you told me you want to make every year.
And their brains exploded, didn't it?
Yeah, they were pretty happy.
I love hearing that. That's amazing. And you had mentioned that you have a new producer coming on, right?
I do. I just hired a new producer and a new CSR.
You're on a hiring spree,
We are
and you hired in multiples, yeah.
trying to grow, trying to emulate, be like you.
Did
No,
you?
we're trying to implement what we've learned. You know, that this is the next step for us to continue down the path we want to go. We need to emulate and do what those who are successful, what we're being taught through the EAT training is telling us to do. Now we've heard it. Now let's do it.
Yes, and you've gotten your new producer on the training as well.
Yes. And
Okay.
he loves it. He came from the car sales world, so he's got a sales background. He actually had his life and health license before he applied, and he got his PNC before he started in our agency. Um, but he has said, I'm not a script guy. I've been in sales my whole life, and he started taking this training. He's like, this guy's really good. Like this training is really helpful, and it is because it teaches you how to talk to people and how to assume the sale and how to close this, how to ask for the sale, how to lead the conversation. I love that it's a no brainer.
The
So
no-brainer. That's
we love
fantastic.
that one.
Yes. And so instead of you, I assume instead of you having to be hands-on and train your new producer out of your own time, you've been able to sell more while the new producer is training, correct?
Absolutely. I've still shadowed him and he's shadowed me, but in the time that he's been doing the training and able to learn through the EAT training, I've been able to continue selling, a little bit on the back end. I got all my producers up and running. So I've been able to sell three households PNC, and then we've also done 5 life apps last week alone.
So by you not having to train, you were able to continue to sell. You sold 3 household sales and submitted how many life apps?
Excuse me, 5 last week.
5. That's fantastic. That's great.
Yes, we are excited about that.
Yeah, your time is so valuable. Um, okay, here's a fun one. What is your personal favorite part of the training system so far? Because I know you haven't gone through all of it, right?
I have not gone through all of it. I like the mindset. Um, that's important for me because it's easy in this market and in being a new business owner and having young kids to just get overwhelmed and just feel like there's so much to do and am I doing it right? And just and you can really go into a different attitude. So keeping that mindset of where you're going and your goals and the positive mindset has been huge for me personally. And also the mindset behind where the agency is going and keeping those goals in mind. And in both my personal and professional life has been huge. I really think that that's been a big part besides learning how to departmentalize and learning how to hire properly and staff up and everything else. For me personally, one of the big things has just been mindset. And you can even ask my district staff that my mindset has just completely shifted.
Great. What would you say to another agent who is looking at possibly getting on the elite training system?
You should have done it yesterday. You're wasting your time. Um, no, seriously, like it's something that the longer you wait, the more time you're using up of not being as successful as you could be, right? Once you start implementing what you're learning, you don't know what you don't know until you don't know it. And once you don't know that you didn't know it, you can start implementing it. And from there, you can grow. And I didn't know what I was missing or what I didn't know until I started taking it. And so now that I do know, I can make those changes and make those pivots within the agency to grow and go where we want to go. But I didn't know what I didn't know until I started it. So the longer I would have waited, the further behind I would have been.
Great. Is there any part of the training that you would change if you could, or is there any other training that you wish was part of the system?
The only thing that then, and this is something that I've talked to Brian about, the big thing for me is just making sure that I'm also doing everything on the back end to make sure that I'm offering all the coverages and that I'm having documentation in place to cover myself when we do offer coverages and maybe somebody declines taking a coverage. So we've talked about how to document that properly, just recorded phone calls and that kind of stuff through our Zooms as being part of the elite agency training. You offer that to us. So we've talked about how you cover yourself in your agency. And that really helped me to ensure that I was doing it properly to cover myself in my agency. So I think the big thing is you being available on top of the elite agency training for additional questions and stuff of, hey, how would you handle this situation has been critical for me.
Right, right. And those forms have helped you CYA, right?
100%.
Cover your assets. Okay. And wanted to ask you, you've gotten through the life training section or some of it, right?
Hmm.
Okay. And then have you been able to use any of the life training or the life script or any of your producers using the life script to submit any life applications from that training?
Absolutely. So as part of the CYA, we make everybody sign off that we offered them life insurance, and if they declined it, they initial that they declined to take life insurance from us. But because they're initialing that they declined it, it means that we've talked to them about it, which leads us right into the script. If we're going to talk to them about it, it's, where do you have that life insurance outside of work? And it leads perfectly into the script. That's how we submitted 5 last week, and we have 5 set up to submit this week. Is just because now we're saying, hey, we you need to sign here that we offered this life insurance to you if you didn't want it. But then it leads right into the script of, well, where do you have that outside of work? Well, how much do you have? Is that enough? So it forces us to use the script, even if we weren't going to use it, because they're saying she offered it to me.
Wonderful. That's great. Anything else up top of your head that you want to add?
If you aren't investing in this, you should be. I've been one that I watch my pennies, and I don't, I didn't want to spend too much on the agency until I knew it was going to be successful. And this has been a huge investment. And we've gotten all of our return, not only monetarily, but time wise, knowledge level, feeling like we're covering our assets appropriately. Apologies. All of that kind of stuff. It's been 100% worth every investment we've made from multiple aspects, not just the return on the investment, but even anxiety, just how to do things. And it just makes you feel more comfortable with what you're doing as a business owner. So
Wonderful.
if you're not doing this, it's 100% worth every penny you spend.
Wonderful. Jennifer, you're gonna do great. Keep going. You're gonna kill it. You're gonna blow
Thank
up.
you.
So keep going. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
All
Thanks
right.
for having me.
Absolutely.